Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley,
Nine Chronicles.
and today we are doing a special one-off, kind of a week on our look back at the first two episodes of Discovery, the pilots or prequel, I guess you could call it, and how our thoughts have changed. I've had the opportunity to watch it a few more times, and yes, we're going to discuss that and kind of after having mulled it over a little bit.
And it is worth
Talk
saying
about our new views. Yeah.
tonight is the third episode, and I'll watch it tomorrow, and I'm really excited. I'm still very excited. So this is just before it comes out. Like I said, a weekend because we are quite in this Trek community, and it it takes time to mull it over really.
And I'm excited about tonight because it's going to be like a brand new pilot because we got a brand new ship, a brand new crew, and a brand new feel apparently. So
anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've managed to rewatch the other ones a little bit as well, especially my parents because they waited a while to watch it. So that was my re-experience. But then what are your a week on thoughts when we're now used to this Discovery verse? And I've watched a lot of online reviews from like Red Letter Media, Irish Trekkie, even Angry Joe. Other people's perspectives. So I've to hear what they've thought has not necessarily changed what I've thought, but broadened my horizon. Because we went into the first review really very much. I was in this bubble because I wanted my genuine my reactions.
Yeah.
So what's your a week on thoughts?
Okay.
That was a long sigh.
Overall, it's a good show. I really enjoyed it more the other couple viewings I did of it. I picked up more that I wasn't so critical and so over in analysis mode, I guess, and I could really enjoy it. It did have some misbeats still, as I said. Visually, it's great. It's stunning, but it just for me it doesn't tie into the right time period, and I've got a lot of flack for that, but it's just the way it
Also,
is.
a lot of support though. I mean, I've also read your comments and posts. I mean, this is a very you either agree or you don't, which is what life is. But I mean, people are either like, of course, it should at least try and be like TOS, and of course, no, it shouldn't be like the '60s, which is a completely opposite perspective. We're not. They're saying different things,
Yes.
But it depends which perspective. So I watched it again with my parents, and I'll say that we'd obviously done this long review, really thought about it. I was aiming to go talk to my girlfriend on the phone after I was showing it to them, the parents, and I thought, okay, I'll watch 10 minutes, and then I need to go because it's late. I accidentally sat there for 34 minutes for 42 minutes. Not really. I got to go in a minute. I sat through 3/4 of it because it was well paced. It was interesting. It was beat to beat. I was able to sort of enjoy their first reactions, and that really impressed me because it was so good in that respect. But because I was watching it for their perspective and their opinions, I was able to turn all that Star Trek brain off and just watch it as just science fiction without any of this Star Trek baggage, where the name and the legacy is attached. When you take all that away, the first part, and again we still don't like the second part as much. The first part is just an enjoyable sci-fi romp that still has some missteps in story, but we don't know the characters well enough yet to necessarily even say those things. But yeah, just a really enjoyable first part that still got me excited for the second part, despite knowing what happens in the second part. So that's interesting. I mean, the problem is you make a Star Trek show, you don't make it in a vacuum, and you can't make it in a vacuum. And as my dad said, if this was post Voyager, I think it would be much more universally praised just because they can do whatever the hell they want. And you've got to respect the vacuum you're in. Like I said, I just call it something else, like call it Mass Effect. That's why Orville, they do their own thing, and you can just appreciate the tech and whatever they have for what it is, even though it's obviously Star Trek referencing. So it's a weird thing, and obviously for our job, and my full-time job, your part-time job / passion, and we're waiting 2 years for this, we've got to really look at it. I had so much fun with you really going through it. Like, that was more fun than to watch it almost. You're my Trek buddy, and we've built this rapport and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good first episode of television. And to remove yourself from the legacy of Star Trek enhances the experience.
I agree. That's kind of what I alluded to when I said I took off my analytical brain for the third and fourth viewings. Really had a chance to enjoy it for what it was. So, as a new fan experiencing this for the first time, I can see how it's going to grab people. It's going to bring them into the Star Trek world, and that's going to make them want to watch other Star Trek. And that's good. I mean, we want fans. We want to build the Star Trek legacy and continue it for the future. So that's fantastic. Anything that can bring anybody into this franchise and make them want to explore more of it is welcome in my mind. I do enjoy it. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of some of the characters. I don't think the captain was done particularly well. Michael Burnham's character, her motivations are very odd to me, considering she was raised on Vulcan. She seems very, very overly emotional all the time, and her decision-making process is flawed at best for a Starfleet officer.
Yes, I said this to my mum after, and she agreed. The fact that Captain Georgiou said, "You're ready for a command," all of her actions in 2 episodes prove she's nowhere near ready for a command. Completely, like, she's not remotely ready. She's a bad command officer.
Which means she was serving with her for 7 years, at least. I'd like to see what she was like during those 7 years. To me, the character that stood out the most through this whole thing was Saru.
Which I think is universal. Everyone seems to think he's a standout. Yeah.
Yes.
Despite the limited screen time, he was out of that trifecta. He was given the least, and yet stood out the most.
Yeah, and that says a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I don't know if we'll be seeing flashbacks during the course of Discovery. I think we will. I think we'll see the captain more, and I think we'll kind of experience what happened during these 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years exactly. There's a huge amount of stuff in between, especially the TOS battle was mentioned is in between that. There's other things that can happen that you can tell through his people.
And I've seen 1 or 2 sneak peeks of the upcoming episodes.
Today. For you, anyway.
Yeah. And I do see more TOS visual aesthetics coming up, which I'm excited about. And I think that might piss a lot of people off because they don't want to see that because it's not their...
The thing is, there's a difference between TOS aesthetic as 60s and TOS aesthetic as modern. So, for example, a data disk, have it be a rectangle but add stuff onto it. Like a flat rectangle plate, but then give it technological pieces. So it's just a really advanced hard drive. As I said really early on, you take the shape of the Connie Bridge, you rip out all the the chairs, the consoles, the buttons, and you rebuild that from the ground up to modern day. Maybe you extend this bridge by 10% to give more scale. You refine all the shapes a smidge, but you keep the base design. So from a distance or blur it looks like TOS.
Yeah. As
soon as you put into focus, boom, it's modern day. I mean, that's an easy thing to do. Really, it's not that tricky, and it would win all the fans over because that's as Eric Henry and then Dave Coombe from does a lot of Eagle Moss fan stuff. They said it's as if as we're getting further from TOS and technology advances, we're able to see back into the TOS time with a more refined, clearer image, and we can see it's not what it looked like because what we saw in the 60s was very blurry. We're seeing what it is now. I just disagree with that because we saw a TOS look being identical in both TOS, TNG, DS9 and Enterprise. That doesn't really work conceptually, but I understand why. And I will say this is certainly, the JJ films are what they are, and they will not last. They will not stand the test of time because they are very shallow. The third one being the best by a long way, and I think Trekkies enjoy that. I could put on Beyond and just enjoy it as a fan, as a film, as the other two not really. Although I watched the first one with you again, and I had such much fun just pulling out even more stuff I thought was awful that I didn't notice the first time But this actually doesn't necessarily feel like Star Trek, but it is a modern Star Trek for a modern day. It does feel like 2017 Star Trek. You need more action, you need more violence, you need more snipey dialogue, you need more people being mean and those darker sides of life because people want to feel connected to it, even though people also want to be happy and enjoy comedy. Look at How I Met Mother and Big Bang Theory. They're all pretty happy a lot of the time. Like the thing about Penny, her drinking problem is not her best feature, and I'd rather she doesn't have it. I liked her when she was quirky and cute. Now she's got a drinking problem. That's not a good thing. She's worse as a character for that, in my opinion. So you don't want these necessarily negative traits, but other people want that because it's just good storytelling.
I think the thing that these first 2 episodes were missing was some lightheartedness. At least a moment or two. I mean, the beginning, the first scene with the captain and commander, there was a little bit of that, but I think it really missed that step as far as Star Trek goes.
Well, it's so strange.
It was too dark and too focused the whole time.
And yet it's so strange because it's meant to be a character story, and yet the characters were underdone and underserved.
Yes. Yeah.
And as we said, again, her saying she's ready for a command clearly isn't, and then mutinying within about 10 minutes. That's not 7 years of relationship built up there. That's about 3 days of filming relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
if this is a character story, please, you know what I mean? They didn't do that properly. And again, the pacing issues, again, they could have taken out, a third of the Klingon stuff. I mean, I like the Klingon stuff overall, but again, the dialogue is a lot slower because they have to enunciate in a different way. They're re-engineering that feel, and therefore the scenes are very, very long, very, very slow. If that was Martok doing the scenes, I mean, you would have nice, energetic / slow. I mean, Martok is such a great actor, and a J.J. Hertzler. I would love to have seen the same stuff. I mean, to be fair, I would, at convention, please give J.G. the dialogue with Robert O'Reilly and have them do one of the scenes and see how they would do it in character. It would be really interesting because you could double nuance that. I think the extra slow down there really removed from the characters that we're meant to care about and are meant to know each other, but they do not really feel like they're a real crew. I mean, 7 years is all of TNG. You look at the end of TNG and the relationships between first episode and the last episode. These guys are like season 2, episode 1 relationships. It's pretty lackluster. And then episode 2 again. I still think the pace is not great. The battle is still lackluster. It could definitely have some work on it. Although I still appreciate the tech nods with the transport at the start, and trying to give Takuvamar an interesting who he is. But as some other reviewers said, his motivation is just racial purity. Let's murder for racial purity. That's even less of a motivation than honor, because at least honor is a code of conduct. He's just murdering because he thinks all Klingons should murder and stronger through murder. It's even less of a good. He's even more 2D. Even though he tried to give him that, he's even worse. And I had not thought that first way through, but I think Red Letter Media, they said he's just a warmongering. He's Hitler. He's a genocidal Hitler that successfully convinced his entire people in 2 conversations to go on a mass murder spree.
Interesting. I didn't read that, but
you can read into it pretty easily.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
I guess in summation, looking back at this, I really expected more from a pilot. This seems more like a prequel standalone thing. Like I said, I'm really excited for seeing episode 3 and seeing a new pilot, seeing the Discovery, seeing the new crew, and seeing that take on it. So this was kind of a letdown in that regard because it's its own standalone thing, and it doesn't speak to the potential of Discovery.
Again, the other issue is that we look at this and everyone is as a week by week, but the fact is every other point in history this will be watched as a continuous binge. So by having this prequel movie and then we'll watch the next episode, it'll be stronger for it because you're actually able to embrace it. TV is no longer watched as a week by week. It's such a strange schedule. Like what show is it? Stargate Universe, first season. It's very slow week by week, but as a binge, it's incredible because the character development is so rich. And by the end of it, you really know everybody. But week to week, it's pretty painful because it's not paced properly. Yeah. But my final thoughts: part 1 actually stronger. Second time, like it is stronger than I thought. Second part is not weaker, but the flaws in the story are there's so much more condensed in this that you see just that's silly, that's broken, that's wrong, that's a misstep. Like it's a very strange dichotomy of that is very, very strong. This is pretty damn weak. Which is odd because in the Irish Trekkie review they said most people they know love part 2 more, and yet the reaction we were getting with all of our fans is that they agree with us. Most people like episode 1 more. Again, as millions of people watching this, the breadth of opinion is going to be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So we only speak to our own opinion, and we sort of refined our views to try and be unbiased. And the way we've been reviewing is not just like I hate this or I love that. It's a bit more measured, but it's a very strange equation. But I think as a movie, it works better.
Yes.
And if you re-edited it, I'm so tempted to re-edit it as like a movie. Like take the episode, make a fan edit. And there's not much I could do. Although I have models of the Shinjo once we get finished in 3D. I'd love to then do a custom CG scene. This is a extra cutaway because we need extra cutaway or something to help blend the scenes. But I feel like it'd be interesting to re-edit and try and fix the pace a little bit, but you can't add stuff.
That'd be interesting.
You can't add stuff in the last 5 minutes that isn't there, which it
Yeah.
needs, you know. But yeah, episode 3 tonight for you, tomorrow for me, and then we'll spend a day talking about it. I'm excited.
I'm excited for episode 3. I'm very excited.
And the great double bonus is that the production team saw the reactions to all the stuff progressively when they're writing the last part of the season. They've had a chance to alter the end of the season.
Yes.
You know, to fit better with, you know, the reaction. So I think we both think that they're probably going to start melding it. Was not the original intention, likely, but probably massage the second or the last third to make it fit a bit better, to probably bring some more elements in, to try and make that bridge between fans. So that, again, you watch it as a journey. You know, you look at early on, it's even further from, you know, further from where we want to be, but then it progresses to get closer, and then simple things can make a huge difference, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there you have our thoughts. Looking forward to
it's still a strong pilot movie.
Absolutely, yes. It does have flaws, though, obviously. I think the ending was very rushed and kind of sloppy. But anyway, that's where we stand, guys. Looking forward to your comments and thoughts below after you've had a chance to mull it over. What do you think about the Discovery first 2 episodes? Like I said, I'm excited. I love Discovery. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming up. Episode 3 really has me jazzed.
I feel more excited now I've seen the show to watch more of the show than I've ever have been.
Yes.
Which says they did a good pilot, because we've always seen these continuity problems. We've always seen some bad ship missteps, and you know we've been following for 2 years and we've had excited, not excited, but having now seen it and see what they can do because of the potential. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to abandon it. I'm not going to, you know, no, I'm more excited to watch it than I've ever been.
Yes.
Because they can go anywhere from here, you know.
Absolutely.
So, good job for that.
Yes. So, in summary, we don't hate Discovery. We love Discovery, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot more and breaking down each episode for you guys to enjoy, because we love doing this and we love talking about Star Trek. Just what we do.
Yeah.
So, until next time, until our episode 3 review, which I'm looking forward to. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We will see you then.
Tomorrow,
yes,
basically.
Yes. Or go back and watch our other reviews as well. Anyway. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Kongs.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.